So we added a bunch of dummy data, and it really got to a point where, especially if you did this, it gets a little tedious because when you're going into the admin and you want to add a new variation, you click on variations and you've got this list of variations, and we go to add variation, you have to find the product and then go forward. Now there's an easier way to do this in the admin, a lot easier way, and it's called Inlines. So if you use an inline, it connects models together. So let's actually see what I mean by this. Let's jump into admin.py for products, and we're going to create a new admin class called product admin, and it's going to inherit from admin.model admin, and we're going to take the class meta. Model is product, and since we have this in here, we're going to also put in product admin. Now what this does is it allows us to customize the admin or the product administration side of what we're going to be working with. For example, we could do list display, and we can decide what we want to show up. So let's first off do the Unicode, which is the default, and then we could say for the product, we could say price, and then we could say description if we wanted to as well, but I'm just going to leave Unicode and price. And we need to make sure that it is registered with the model itself. So if we have this and we go back into our admin, we can click on products, and we now see what's being displayed is the product itself, which is the Unicode data, and then the price for it, which is cool. So there's a lot more stuff that you could do to the admin itself, but this, what we want to focus on is inlines. So the next thing that I want to do is be able to click on any of these products and see the various variations associated to that product, meaning I want to be able to edit the variations while I edit the product as well. This is fairly straightforward to do. We create a new class, and I'm going to call it variation inline, and it's admin.tabular inline, and we just set the model, and that's equal to variation. And then down here into the product admin itself, we just write a new attribute here of inlines, and this is going to be a list of the various inlines we want to have. So in this case, we want variation inline as one of them, and we go ahead and save that. And notice since it's already registered, we don't have to do anything beyond that. In fact, we can comment out the variation admin itself, and we refresh in here, and now we have the default variations that come in with this. And this is also true if we do save and add another. It's going to give us these options for variations. But notice it gives us 3 options. Perhaps we only want to have one extra option, or we want no extra options. To change that, we just say extra, and we say the number that we want. So if I said 0, I refresh in here, it just starts off with 1, but it's not giving me extra fields here. But also if I add a new one, it gives me no option for that variation as well. So that's really cool. So since we can do this with the variation, we can also do it with the product image. So we do class product image inline, and again it's admin.tabular inline, and the model is this time product image, and extra we'll say 0. Then we put this into our variations list. I put it in alphabetical order, refresh in here, and it's going to show up based on the order that you put it in here. So if you swap these out, variations will show up first. So that's kind of up to you on how you want to do that. I'm going to put it in alphabetical order. So what we see here is variations and now images, and we can change everything about this product here. So if I wanted to add another variation to the iPhone, let's say for instance we said 8 gig, and then we do 16 gig, and we say this is $2.99. Inventory, we'll leave it at 0 to be unlimited, or leave it as none as unlimited. Save and continue. And then now if we go back into our product for iPhone, we now see the 2 different variations in there. So this is definitely a really good and easy way to edit and have your staff work on it as well, which is pretty important. So then instead of trying to build your own custom solution, you could use this admin specifically for staff. You don't want to use it for anything beyond your own staff. If you have a huge staff, if you have a lot of people that and you want to have a lot of control over what they can do, then what we did with the customizing of inventory is definitely what you'd want to do here. Because the thing about this is you could change the product title, you can change a lot of things in here on how we have it set up now. Now, of course, all of those things can be customized, but the point here is we can do all types of stuff with including categories and default categories and all that, which is cool. So that's actually how I personally would rather have it, is to be able to just go into this admin, because the admin is really powerful. There's a whole lot of other stuff that you could check out, especially for these inlines. So the inline model admin options are here. So we can change the form that actually we want to display in here, right? So maybe you don't want to have active listed. Maybe by default active is coming through. You can change it whether or not you want to show inventory. So that's what the form that you could do there. There's all sorts of things here that you could do, and you could just read through the documentation and play around with it on your own, so you can, allow it to change from there, but then you also learn and you can check out the documentation. Another one that you might consider using is max number, so the max number of fields that you want to show here, and maybe you put 10. So you can only have 10 product images, and that max num will allow that to happen. So if we go back in here, then you could only add 10 variations of this. At least it will only save 10. So beyond, you could go through, and then there it goes. So it doesn't even allow you to have more than 10 options here, which is really cool. And the same thing is true with images too. So again, if your staff was using this would be a really nice way to limit the number that's coming through. And that's also true with you could do minimum number. So it's going to definitely make sure that you have a minimum number that are showing up there. And you can change your templates, all sorts of things here. All right, so if you have any questions on how we did these inlines, let us know. Otherwise, let's keep going.